I really want to start off this video by stating that this is not to bash anybody, this is no attacking anybody. I'm not saying anything people are doing is wrong or incorrect. I'm just saying what it's like from the other side, from another perspective, what my opinion is. My opinion may be different to your opinion. Your opinion is valid too. Everybody's opinion is valid. Whether it's right or not, if you have an opinion, you're allowed to speak it, and I respect that. And please don't take this as any ill will towards anybody, because it's not. But anyway, let's get on with the video. Hello guys, and we have a very special video here today. And this is in response to a YouTuber known as Josh Strife Hayes, who recently made a video talking about MMO content, titled The Truth About MMO Content Creators. And Josh Strife Hayes mentions how he'd like more people to get into the MMO community, and there aren't enough content creators in this genre, and he goes on about the audience and stuff. But there's one thing he never really addresses, so this is kind of in response to him. Now, when it comes to YouTube, if you are in any gaming genre, whether it's an MMO or not, if you're a new YouTuber, nobody ever finds your content unless you get lucky. Because wherever you go, no matter what game it is you are doing, you essentially will be buried underneath everything the bigger YouTubers are doing, regardless. I've seen tons of YouTube channels over the years where I've searched games and stuff, and I found an obscure channel that was like 1,000 subscribers or less, 500, 200, whatever. And some of these people could have been doing YouTube for months or weeks or years, and they will never go anywhere. Because even if they do the most popular games, MMO or not, they'll always be buried under the people that are much bigger with a much larger audience. You got people at 100k subscribers, 1 million subscribers, who are all going to cover this game because it's the most relevant piece of information right now. In whatever subgenre it is, whether it's a horror game, a MMO, a RPG. Regardless, there are so many gaming channels out there that cover so many topics that already have established fan bases. And as a newer content creator, you can't really do anything about it, because even if you do videos on the most relevant game, the most hip thing in this current moment, no matter how great your thumbnails are, no matter how much effort you've put in, no matter how much time you put into this game, even if your video is the best out there, if you have only 10 subscribers and nobody's really viewing your content or something, your video will never see the light of day. I love to look at gaming, or YouTube in general, as the analogy of trees. And this is a very simple and easy way to put it. So when it comes to trees, the ones that are the tallest are the ones that always get the most sunlight. They will always be taking the sun's rays. Those that are bigger make it harder for the smaller trees to grow, because they will absorb all the sunlight with their big reaching branches of all their leaves. They absorb it all. And then when you get a new sapling, which is down at the very teeny tiny bottom in the darkness under the shadow of all the bigger trees, it will rarely ever receive any sunlight. And in never receiving that sunlight, it will never be able to grow. It will never blossom into a fully grown giant tree. And even if it does manage to start to turn into a tree, it will either become damaged or completely stopped in its growth. Completely stunted to a stop. That's the way content is on YouTube these days. In the age of 2022, 2023 and stuff like that, the amount of YouTubers there are, there's so many. If you didn't start up years ago, way back in the past, when there were less competition, you actually had a better chance than you do today to ever shine. Now, I've been doing YouTube for about 9-10 years. Now, granted, I'll be honest, I never really sat there and constantly did videos. You know, I was just doing my freestyle rapping as a way to express myself and stuff like that in the past. I never really took it seriously. But, you know, I never really got any views on any of those old videos. And if any of the views that I have today, they'll be from like 1 or 2 people finding them over the very 9 to 10 years that I've constantly had a channel. And most of my videos probably don't even have 10 views from years ago. They were just never found. Right? So, we take that analogy, as I'm saying, because I'm nobody. I don't have an audience. YouTube has not sought any reason to promote me. Why should it? I'm not getting any views. I'm not bringing people to the platform. All you bigger people are doing it. So it's not as simple as just simply saying, oh, well, we want more people to do this kind of content. Because the people that try don't go anywhere. There are people that have tried for years, like I said, and they maybe had 1,000 subscribers after like a 3-year run. 1,000 subscribers for 3 years worth of work. Now you think about the amount of time and energy, people having to balance jobs, people having things to do in life which get in the way, and they've put all this effort and they've saw nothing from it. They eventually get tuckered out. Some will persist and keep trying. But there are those that will just say, I can't do it anymore. I've tried so hard, I've put so much into this, and nothing's came of it. Now obviously hard work is important and persevering is important. But at the same time there's a limit to how much people can do. Till it becomes to a point where is this really worth it? Now, another thing you'll also see is out of the smaller content creators, they'll try and collab with each other to a degree, right? They'll work together and they'll reach out to each other because they are small. They don't really have the reach and the volume and the big voice that everyone can hear. They only have the small, tiny minority that they are surrounded by to socialize with. They don't have a big YouTuber to talk to and discuss things and say their opinions and anything. They have no way of really getting any light other than working with these smaller content creators who also have a smaller fan base to try and at least get maybe 2 or 3 or 20 possible subscribers if they're lucky. Because the ratio of viewer to subscribers, like, I'm sure you get hundreds of thousands of views, sometimes millions of views. How many of those hundreds of thousands or millions do you see that actually subscribed from that viewership? So you imagine somebody with a much smaller pool trying to get any kind of viewership, and they basically don't get any. And the one thing you'll always see is the bigger content creators, they will always be mentioning each other in videos. They will always be interacting with those bigger YouTubers that are well known, because a lot of them, regardless of whether they're the nicest guy in the world, they are still trying to grow and improve their performance. They are still trying to improve and grow their audience. They never see fit to ever look down at the bottom of the barrel to the people that are lesser well known. They never ever give them really a shout out unless it's something very rare, and a very rare occasion at that. Like, how many bigger YouTubers do you ever see that will ever collab with somebody who's like 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers, or hell, 20 subscribers? You will never see it, ever, because they have nothing to gain. The bigger YouTubers don't have anything to gain from that. So they will never look at the bottom of the barrel and see how the people that are struggling to climb up with all, you know, everything being basically towering above them, and nobody can ever see them. Trying to get started in any gaming content nowadays is really hard. It's a big issue. If you don't have anything, trying to get yourself established and the millions of voices out there, you will never be heard. It's like shouting into a dark void and hoping that maybe, just maybe, you might be one of the lucky ones that finally gets a tiny piece of light. Maybe that tiny shred of glistening dust to radiate upon you so you can climb out of that abyss, even if it's just temporary, to possibly get somebody to follow you along and stick to you and come with you to other content you may produce. Now, you're talking about an MMO content genre where things are constantly shifting. There's new MMOs coming out all the time. There's new content coming out all the time. People have a set game that they specifically stick to. How is an MMO creator ever supposed to get anywhere when he never gets anywhere, even if he does the most popular game out there? I'm sure there's thousands of channels out there that have tried to do Final Fantasy, who at one point toppled World of Warcraft, and thought, you know, this is a massive game, I'll possibly get somewhere. And they never did. And they kept trying and trying, and eventually they weren't seeing anything coming of it. Well, meanwhile, while they weren't seeing anything come of it, what were they seeing? All the bigger YouTubers who were getting somewhere, who were getting all the views, because they had a large view base, so their videos automatically appeared on the page. So everybody flocked to their videos. And in seeing that, it's disheartening, because they may have put a lot of effort into these videos, they may have put a lot of time into these videos, but because they don't even have 100 subscribers, they're lucky if they get 1 or 2 viewers, their video will never be heard. And it's not just one channel with like 100,000 subscribers. There are multiple. There are channels that are even bigger, with an even larger fan base. And there's multiple. You can see where I'm going with this. You pretty much soak up everything. Even on a game so popular, the less newer person, because they've never really gotten any views on their video, YouTube will never put it in a recommended tab. YouTube will never recommend it to people. So unless you specifically search for that person, or you happen to be following them already, or through some bizarre luck, or you was trying really hard, will you ever find them? When I've found smaller YouTubers, it's been on obscure games that were long forgotten about, that somebody's done something on because nobody's doing content on it anymore. It's the only content they can do while they're not being overshadowed. But there are people that already have the content out there. And to be honest, when it comes to those old retro games, there aren't that many people searching for it. And now, people like yourself and others are even doing retro gaming, making it a big thing. So even if you try and do retro games, they also lose that light that they could have potentially had. Now they have nowhere to go. What game do I do? What game can I possibly find that will actually give me something? What game can I find that I can do content on where somebody may actually find me, where I can get at least a few views, maybe a few hundred, and a potential of a sub or two out of that few hundred? And how long can I keep going on it for? So they said, is it really worth me investing this time? It's never going to happen. And they gave up. And it's unfortunate. And there's nothing wrong with bigger YouTubers working together and collabing and trying to expand their reach and their audience. You've all got lives to live. I'm not putting any dirt on that. Like, you do you. And I get where you're coming from. But at the same time, it's a lot easier to be a bigger YouTuber who gets hundreds of thousands of views and sit there and say, oh, well, do this and do that. Because you already have that. You may have started years ago when there was less competition, where you had a bigger chance than what people do today. Another issue is actually trying to find a game to make your content, right? Because no matter what content you ever try to do in terms of gaming, every other bigger YouTuber's going to jump on it. Every game that releases, there's somebody bigger that's always going to jump on that game. And that's natural, of course, you know. We can't just go, oh, don't you dare jump on that game because we're small and can't go anywhere. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am saying is that every game that comes out, there is already somebody who's more well known in that genre, who's going to be much bigger and will always push you back down and drown you out from ever being discovered or found. Because you got people in so many different walks of life on that game. You got people that make guides for the game. They have 100,000 subscribers. Guess where, if you try and make guides, guess where all the people are actually going to and finding? Which guides they are finding? Yours, when you have no subscribers, are like 100,000 person. Not only that, because they are well known and they already have an audience, they will automatically have an advantage because they will have viewers who are in their Discord or Twitter and everything, telling those creators what they've discovered, what they found in that game, what they've been able to discover. So even if you were trying to make a guide, they're going to find all that information first, way before you even have a chance, because they have a helping hand who is feeding them that information. So you can sit there and try and figure it all out and try and make a guide in this game, but I guarantee you, they will have a guide ready first with more things than you will be able to do by yourself. Okay, so I'm going to do PvP. Okay, there's probably somebody who's already up there with a large subscriber count doing PvP. So, unless I can do something incredibly special to stand out in PvP, what could I possibly do to stand out in PvP? I have to be better than everybody else. Well, if I don't have that talent to be better than everybody else in PvP, I have no leg to stand on. Somebody who's much bigger will draw everybody to their PvP video, and especially if they are better, they will always pull the people in over me, because I'm probably just some average player compared to them in terms of the PvP scene, because they are really good at it, and they already have a fan base. There are just so many things which inhibit and prevent you from ever being able to stand on a leg, regardless of what kind of content you do on that game. Because when that game comes out, every YouTuber who's in that genre is going, well, a bunch of people are going to come to this game, it could be big, I want to get some views out of it, some subs out of it, I'm going to it, I'm making a game on it. So, basically, you have to find out the most obscure game out there to ever actually get an audience. To actually have the floor to yourself to a degree where you actually have a fair chance to ever do content on the game. Because, most likely, every single time, you're never going to be found. Let's have a look at Elden Ring, that everybody was going crazy about and was really big on release. You know, everybody was playing it. People like me doing videos in that game, regardless of what I did, I was lucky if I got 2 viewers, 4 viewers, despite how massively popular that game was, because there were much larger YouTubers out there who already have a fan base, so they automatically have a massive leg up on me. There are people that are content creators that have hundreds of thousands of views, or subscribers, or million subscribers, who probably got the game early, because bigger YouTubers always get games early. Take Fighting Cowboy, I believe it was. He basically had beaten Elden Ring before Elden Ring even came out. Before the rest of us got access to it, he was practically at the late game area, playing through it on stream, while we were waiting for it to release to be able to play it. Which really sucked, because he basically already had a full playthrough of the game. Now I thought, well, what can I do to possibly try and stand out here? Because the issue is, this Fighting Cowboy person has so many viewers, he already has a leg up on me, and he's practically at the end of the game, and he's already pulling people into streams, and there's so many people watching this stream. I don't have any subscribers, I don't have any viewers. What do I do? Like, how can I possibly pull some light? So I thought, you know what? I'll probably I'll release multiple episodes on the first day. So I'll basically release hours of footage on the game from release. So for the people that only did 1 or 2 videos, I will have a bit of an advantage. And I tried to do that. And for the most part, you know, it was a good idea and all. But Cowboy already has more episodes than I do already out, because he's practically already beaten the game and releasing episode after episode after episode, because he's already done the videos. You don't have to go in and edit and play around with the videos. He's already got it all set up. He's just like release, 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 release. So I was like, you know, I'll release like 5 episodes on day 1. So I'll have 5 hours worth of footage. I'll probably have a bit more than other people, for those who want to watch videos instead of streams. But Cowboy was already there with like, I think he had like episode like 6 or 7 by day 1 already uploaded. And I was just sort of just like, what can I possibly do? What the hell can I possibly do? There's no way I stand a chance. And rightfully so. Because if I actually go to my videos and I scroll down to Elden Ring, even now, months later, and this was back in February, I only have 23 views on episode 1. Then the rest of them are like 5, 4, 3, 3, 5. I mean, the majority of my views on pretty much every single video is under 5 views. And I'm assuming, out of those 5 views that I have pretty much on average, those people were probably either somebody just clicking onto it because of a title for the video, or somebody who was a friend of mine who subscribed to my channel, or somebody who has watched my video and thought, well, I may as well carry on now because I've already started watching through them. So now I was like, well, what can I do now? I'm not getting any views. I'm episode 40 odd, and, you know, I'm basically have less than 5 views on pretty much every single video, despite how popular Elden Ring was. Okay, I'll try some PvP. So I went to try some PvP. 11 views, 10 views. Okay, that's a bit better, you know. I'm happy with that to a degree. But that's only because this has been out since April, these videos. It's now August. So I've essentially had, from April to August, 3 months where I've gotten to 10 or 11 views. Like, it is near impossible. On a game as popular as Elden Ring, there was no way I ever stood a chance. Because of a bigger YouTuber who basically had the game, beaten the game before it was even released, and already had like all these episodes already recorded with the whole full playthrough of the game. And then everybody else is doing videos on it, all the bigger content creators, some of them which I was subscribed to, who weren't as big as him, were pulling in everybody because they already had a fan base to pull people in with. I didn't have any leg to stand on to pull people in with. So nobody ever found me. So automatically, he's already got a giant leap above all of us down here. The only other people who could ever get an audience were the people that already had an audience. Or you had to get really, really lucky. If you were somebody that was like under 100 subscribers, or 50 or 20, good luck. You weren't finding anybody. Nobody was ever finding your content. As I said, I've been on YouTube for about 9 years. And through unfortunate circumstances, when I finally got serious, my PC broke. And this was around the time I started doing Skyrim videos. When Skyrim got remastered, I started doing videos on that. And I finally started to get some views. I was getting comments. And the sense of joy I got, that I was finally getting that tiny piece of light, was making me very happy. I was loving it. But then tragedy struck, and unfortunately my PC broke. And I was unable to replace it. I could not afford to. The PC I had when I finally started getting views and stuff like that, when I was finally getting some recognition, after years of doing YouTube, I was finally getting some recognition, finally, that final bit of light, and my PC just went, bye-bye. I just stopped it to a complete halt. And for years, I wasn't able to replace it. I couldn't afford to replace it, because that PC at the time was a 1500 gaming computer in the UK, which would have been about 2200 US at the time, if I remember when I converted it years ago, when I had that. And this was around 2017 time. But, yeah, my PC went splat when I finally started to get somewhere. After uploading for years and getting nothing, no sign of anything, at all. It was never improving. And then when I finally started to, that happened. And it completely stunted me. And I only got a PC last year. But through unfortunate circumstances, through depression, I was struggling. Now, I finally managed to start getting somewhere. Now I'm starting to get views. Now I'm starting to get subscribers. Now I'm starting to get comments. And it's a great feeling. But back in 2017 as well, when my PC broke for years, you know, I was upset. I was trying to save up money to get my PC fixed. I just couldn't afford it. Monetary wise, it just wasn't happening. But, you know, we had that whole Child Protection Act thing that went on with YouTube, that everybody was affected by. Where everybody was worried, oh, we're going to get cancelled and have our videos no longer monetized because, you know, they're going to start striking channels and stuff if anything's remotely kid-friendly and appeals to them, because child-friendly advertisement. I had lots of Pokemon videos that I had to remove from my channel, so all that content just gone. Like, I had Minecraft videos gone. I had a lot of different games that, you know, could have potentially been seen in that light. I removed them because I was worried about it affecting my channel. Because I always hoped that when I finally get a PC again, when I can finally do this, I'll be able to hopefully recapture my audience that I lost. The people that subscribed to me unsubscribed. Why would they stick around? I wasn't doing videos anymore. I was gone for 4 or 5 years. Which put me even further down into the bottom of the barrel. But I also have been paying close attention over the years. I didn't have the PC and I couldn't do anything about it. I was looking at all these channels that I was finding that were really small, and I was seeing how long they've been doing content for, and these people just never saw the light of day in terms of YouTube's algorithm. The unfortunate thing is, sadly, in today, you will not really shine unless you get lucky. There's too many people out there, too many people doing content on different games, and you need a core audience who will stick by you to be able to bring to other games that you continue to do. And it's a lot harder than you make it out to be, which is like, we would love to have more content creators. Because these people that are trying to be content creators will never ever make it. I just thought I'd throw in my 2 cents, give some food for thought. Because it's a lot easier to look down on us from up there and be like, oh yeah, this is doable and you can do it. We'd love to have more of you here. But that's the reality of the situation. Some of us will never get that light. Some of us can try for years and not go anywhere. Because the market is too fluctuated. There's too many people. There's too many people doing it. That if you want to shine, unless you have something truly special or you get lucky, you will never ever make it. Even if your content was the best. If nobody ever finds your content, it's dead content. There's no good people finding it like 5-10 years later when that game is long dead and gone, because the times when that game was actually relevant has passed. I doubt Josh Strife Hayes will ever hear or listen to this video, or any of the big YouTubers will ever listen to this video. But I just thought I'd share what it's like being here at the bottom of the barrel looking up at all of you, and what it's like from our perspective, and what we're going through. And that's not to bash on anybody, I'm not insulting anybody, that's really not my intention. I just thought I'd share what it's like from another point of view. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. I'm hoping to do something special for 100 subscriber special after 9 years of being on YouTube. Please help me achieve it. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.